Well, this is an unusual problem. The top of that lift arm, where the cable connects, doesn't line up with the slot in the toolbox. So I'm going to try to bend it. This is what my setup looks like. Got a big long wrench to give me some good leverage. Won't need a lot of torque, but you get more control. I got one wheel off to give me some access. I got the hitch blocked up to hold it in the right position while I'm pulling on it. This here's my indicator bar. It's lined up with the edge of that little block there, so I'll be able to see how far it moves by looking there. The reason the block is there is because there's a rib on the one side, and I'd like it to bend below where the rib starts. So this block allows my wrench jaw to fit flat on the casting. If I take this block off and was just using the wrench only, when I get down far enough where I want it to bend, the rib starts coming out and keeps the wrench from closing. So when I pull on it, it would touch on the top and probably bend where the hole is. I made this block with a pin in it, so that pin fits in the hole, because this thing's going to be hot, and I need to be able to just set that block on there, put the wrench on it, and pull on it without wasting a bunch of time. Since I don't have an acetylene torch, I'm going to try to use 2 MAP gas torches, and we'll see if I can get it hot enough. And if I break it, I'm going to have to cut it off and change it like I would have had to anyways. Okay, well that bent a lot easier than I expected. Looks like I went a good 1/4 of an inch there. So I'm going to put it together and see how that works. Well, it's not exactly what I expected, but it looks like it'll work. Got plenty of clearance here. I expected it to bend a little bit lower, be a more gradual bend. In order to check the travel, I'm going to put this steel bar in here so I don't have to push the hitch down. And I'm going to work the lever to watch what happens. That looks good. Even if I hold all the way back on the lever, it still has some clearance here. I want to clean these footrests next, so I need to take them apart. There's some burrs on here from where the set screws were previously tightened, so I'm going to file off the high spots. When I put the first one on, I try to line up the set screw so it goes in the existing divot where it was last time. When I put the second one on, I'm eyeballing across there to try to get it parallel with the first one. This is the old seat that was on it. It's not a wheel horse seat because there's no hole in the middle and it has slots instead of the big holes. Now this tractor is supposed to have one of those square seats. They're a little bit harder to find. What I do have is this round seat. Now this is the style that was used around '61, right before they changed to the square seat. So I'm going to put this on it. It's just a coincidence it's the same color as the other one. It does have some rust pits going on here. This is the worst area. But the bottom section's really nice. And that's frequently where they rust out. This needs to be white, so I'm going to sandblast it next. Here it is sandblasted. I'm going to paint the bottom first, because when it dries a little bit I can turn it over and set it on these 4 raised spots so that I can paint the top. Alright, it's been a while. This paint's dry enough to touch here. So I'm going to turn it over and paint the top. With the finish coat on there, I let it dry for a whole day before I turn it over. Well, this is the fuel tank from that tractor. It needs cleaned up on the outside, but looks like it's in pretty good shape. On the inside, there's a bunch of rust down in there. I'll see if I can show a picture of that. This shutoff valve looks like it's no good. Well, I don't know how many people tried to video the inside of their fuel tank, but it's kind of a pain to hold the flashlight and the camera to look in the same hole. So what I got here is a side marker bulb from a 71 Chevy pickup truck. Any old 12-volt bulb will do. And I taped it to this piece of wire. I like this plug-in bulb because I already got my battery attached. Then I just plug the bulb in to turn it on. Then I'll put this bulb down in the tank, and then I need to bend the wire here so it holds the bulb up inside the tank properly. Hey, that gives you a good look at what's in there. There's the drain hole over there. If I hold the light bulb up, you might be able to see clear to the other end. Alright, well, it definitely needs cleaned out. After I do it, we'll look in there again, see how it works. I got some old kerosene. It's been sitting around a few years. So I'm going to use that to clean this out. Need to plug the hole here. And then I'm going to put some junk in it and shake it around. So what I have here is some old square nuts. They're better than hex nuts because they have sharper corners. And I got some old Woodruff keys from taking apart wheel horse transmissions. So we're going to put that in there and shake it around. Well, I got the worst of it out, but not good enough. So I'm going to step it up a bit. First I need to fix this fuel cap from leaking so much. So I cleaned the inside of it and made a new gasket. So I'm going to use a little bit of mechanical power here. If you're going to do this, make sure you got it blocked up so it's nice and stable. The fuel cap vent is leaking quite a bit, so I got this drain pan here. Well, that was about an hour. Let's take it apart and see what it looks like. Well, look at that. That's not good enough. Kind of disappointing. Alright, I'm going to try harder. Here's the junk that I had in there. And I'm going to add a bunch of 1/4 bolts. This is my 1/4 bolt pile. I took out the long ones so I can get them back out easier. This has been going about an hour, and all the kerosene's drained out of the fuel cap vent. Here's the pile of stuff I had in there this time. Alright, that looks a lot better. I think I can live with that. So I'm going to put it back together. The old shutoff valve was no good, so I got a new one here. It's got the screen built into it. And I'm going to use some Teflon tape. I want to take another look in here. I looked at that previous video, didn't show it very well. So that looks pretty good there. You can see my new shutoff valve screen there. This is what the other end looks like. You can see where the rust used to be. Look at that. I guess I'm not done yet. Dang. Well, that ain't gonna work. Okay, if you think about it, it's obvious why that happened. Because all my hardware was banging on the top and the bottom, not hitting the sides. So here's my fix for that. Alright, I ran that one for about 2 hours. So let's look at what's inside of this one. Well, that looks pretty bad. But to be fair, a lot of that's because I wanted to clean some 5/16 bolts this time. And they were pretty dirty. Well, let's look in here again. Looks like I did a better job of keeping the Teflon tape out of the inside this time. Never did look on this side. Apparently it wasn't as bad. And here's what the bad spot looks like. That's a lot better than it was, but I'd have to say 3 hours does a better job than 2 hours. Well, that's good enough for this one. I'm gonna run it. I haven't tried any of the etching chemicals that people use. Maybe I'll try that someday. Alright. That's as far as I'm going this time. And here's what it looks like. Alright, that's it.